I'm Chris, the wrecking ball.
I'm Alex, the stick holder. And I'm Nick, the driver.
Yep.
And I'm Randy, the video recorder.
The momentum of any system of objects is always conserved, so the momentum of the original equals the final momentum. And Newton's third law is if two objects interact by forces with no other objects involved, the change in momentum of the one object will be the exact opposite of the change in momentum of the other object. The mass of the moving cart was 88.63 kilograms with Chris in it. The mass of the stationary cart was 13.15 kilograms. Alright, our first collision was an inelastic collision. An inelastic collision means that the translational kinetic energy is not conserved.
Go, baby, pick up some speed.
In the first inelastic collision, the moving cart was traveling at 3.13 meters per second, resulting in 434.28 joules of kinetic energy. Right before the moving cart hit the stationary cart, it had a momentum of 277.41 kilograms meters per second. This was an example of an inelastic collision because after the collision, both carts continued to move with velocity in the same direction, but did not stick together. Also, this was an inelastic collision, so the kinetic energy was not conserved.
Alright, our next example is a perfectly inelastic collision, which means that the two carts, when they hit each other, they stick together and their velocities are identical after they've collided.
Come on, baby!
In this video, the moving cart was traveling at 5.36 meters per second, resulting in 1,273.17 joules of kinetic energy. Right before the moving cart hit the stationary cart, it had a momentum of 475.06 kilograms meters per second. This was an example of a perfectly inelastic collision because after the collision, both carts stuck together and continued to travel together with the same velocity.
Alright, this last example is an inelastic collision, which means that the translational kinetic energy is not conserved.
In the last collision, the moving cart was traveling at 6.71 meters per second, resulting in 1,995.06 joules of kinetic energy. Right before the moving cart hit the stationary cart, it had a momentum of 594.71 kilograms meters per second. This was an example of another inelastic collision because after the collision, both carts continued to move with velocity in the same direction, but did not stick together. Also, this was an inelastic collision, so the kinetic energy was not conserved. Bloopers!
Keep going. Oh! Oh! Oh, wow!